Hello everyone, my name is Ravi. Welcome to the channel. I hope you're enjoying the playlist of Power BI, Azure, Data Engineering, and the SQL. Today topic dedicated to Power BI question and answer. Again, my friend called Sant Prajapati attended the interview on EY company. This is a yesterday ago, and he faced some issues to answer those questions in Power BI side. So I'm here to answer those questions, and we can discuss about brief on that. And if you new the channel, please do hit the bell icon and subscribe the channel and share as much you can. And please watch all my videos before attending the Power BI interview question and answer series. Today, what we are going to discuss about, we are covering six questions, and you might have a different way to answer it. If you know the answer, please put on the comment. I can try to add those question and answer based on your implementations. And there are multiple scenario comes into your interview, right, to answer how to answer it. So I'll try to give the answer how to present yourself in front of interviews, and you can crack your interview very efficiently. Okay, so let's discuss today's topic. So I am going to discuss one by one, and today we are going to show in the Power BI desktop how to implement it. What is based on question I can try to implementation, right? So my first question would be how to get column from dimension table into fact table without relationship. So take example, you have two tables, one is fact, one is dimensions, and I wanted there is no relationship. Keep in mind there is no relationship on between the tables. If you have relationship, we can do that, but if you don't have an relationship, you can also do that. Okay, so just keep in mind. So let me discuss about that first. I'll share my screen and you can see how we can do that. Okay, so let me share my desktop file. I have created one desktop file where we have a data model here. So let me discuss when we have a active relationship on top of that, then on that scenario how you get it. Okay, so let me show you the data model first. So in the data model, we have multiple tables, some of the dimension table, and I have one fact table. Okay, so here you can see I have dim product, I have dim continent, I have dim territory, and I have one fact table. Okay, so don't worry about the tables. And my question was, suppose I want data from territory into my fact table. Okay, so how we do that? Okay, so let me do right away. Let me open the fact table. It would be fact table, right? Let me open the fact table. Okay, I am giving the scenario where I have a relationship first of all. Okay, so you have to click on new column. Okay, so new column you need, right? You want a column from other table. So this is a new column for you. And what you have to do once it open, you have to use a related function. This is also a DAX function. What happened is not opened or it is getting open. Okay, so what you have to do, if you heard about related function, so once you have active relationship from the dimension to fact, please keep in mind dimension data should flow down to your fact table. On that case, your related function will work. Okay, so let it open, and once it open, we'll try to write a DAX for the fetch the data from your territory table. Okay, I know we have a table called Australia here, so that don't be worried about that. We can implement it. So my custom table, it would be a related tab column. Okay, so I'm just giving a random name. You can do that. I can use a related function, not receive related. Okay, and what you have to do, you have to type a country column. So it automatically fetch your data, right? So I'm taking a country from the dim territory table. Okay, so you keep in mind, if you have an active relationship, it easy. You have to use a related function. In some cases, you don't have what we say, we don't have active relationship. So let me delete the relationship and we'll try that out. So let me load this one. So you can see all the data being loaded, and you can see data is matching, right? We already have a territory country, so you can verify your data. So this is a case where you have a active relationship. Okay. So what if you don't have any relationship? Let me delete this one. So now what I wanted, what we can take a reference. Location. Okay, we'll do that. Okay. So I have removed the relationship between dim RLS to my fact. Okay, let it delete. So what I want a, email ID from the RLS table to be presented in my fact table. Perfect. So hope you understand, right? In this case, what happened? There is no relationship between dim RLS to your fact table. So how you fetch the data from dim RLS to your fact table? Okay. So let's try to do that. Okay. Let me create a new column. Let me go there. Okay. So I'll go to fact table and I will create a new column, right? This is my requirement to fetch the data. So do you think what is a thought coming to mind to how we achieve it? You might know the answer. If you know the answer, just try the different method how you do that. For me, I am going to use a lookup function to achieve it. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll give a column name, lookup column from lookup column from RLS table. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll just write a lookup function. It will give me the statement what I need to give. So from where I want from the RLS table. Okay. What I wanted, this is a result row column. So I want a email address. Okay. In what basis I wanted, I have to define, right? So I want to join a country with a country. Okay. So in fact table, I have a column called country. So I am going to join dim RLS with country to country. If country match on that match country, I want email addresses. Okay. So this is answer for your first question where interviewer wanted to understand if you don't have any join between the table, how you fetch the data. Okay. So there is two options we discuss. With the relationship, we use a related function, and without relationship, we can use a lookup function. Now we have another function called related table. So in related function, what happened? My data is flowing down from dimension to fact, right? Correct. You can see the relationship. Let me go you to model, and you can see my dim territory, the data flowing where to where. You can see the sign, right? It going from dim territory to my fact table. You understand? Now, if I want some fact table, fact data to come into my dim territory, means my data flowing from dim territory to fact, but I want vice versa. I want fact ordered data come to my dim territory. For that, we have a function called related table function. You can use that and fetch the data from your fact table to your dimension table. Okay, you can try with your own. That would be helpful to learn and get a confidence on DAX query. Okay, so I hope I answered my first question. Okay, so let me jump my second question. Let me brief about that. So second question is very important question is come to your security concerns about RLS. So question would be what is RLS and brief the full implementation. So some people just go to theoretically part. They don't understand how data is flowing, how the RLS being worked in Power BI. So interview try to confuse with suppose you have a live connection, you have a dat query mode, you have import mode. So they try to confuse you, but you should be precisely answers. What is RLS and how to do implementation. So let me brief me about that. So RLS stand for row level security. Row level security is a main objective of row level security is to give access to the pupil based on their roles. Okay, that's a brief discussion, brief definition. Sorry. So for that, how you answer it? Role level security have two part. One is a static, one is your dynamic role level security. Static role level security we have used when you have a small project, means you have 50 people or 10 people or like that, if you are a small organization. But for the big firms we have to implement what we say, uh, dynamic role level security. Dynamic role level security is a major thing where we have to use one DAX function called user principal name. Okay, please be write down somewhere, you have to use a user principal name. So let me directly jump into my DAX and brief you about that. So I'm going to use the same function where I have implemented. Where is my task one? Okay, this is my task one. Okay, so I'm going to discuss about one of the column where we have role level security. You can see we have a team RLS where I need to join country with the country where my country reside to dot country, right? So what happen is, you should be understand this is my static table. Okay, DMRLS, where I kept my, where I have to carry two column. One column belongs to your ID. What ID you log in a Power BI services. Please keep in mind that your ID should match. Okay, and based on your ID, let me show you little bit data. Okay, so you can see I have two data. One is my email addresses where I have my email ID where I going to connect from the services, and secondly which country I can have access. Keep in that. And once you see the modeling, my country data being connected to my country fact table. Correct. So what happen is, once you log into Power BI services, that ID you are passing into role. Okay, let me open the role first so you understand what I'm referring here. Let me go to modeling tab. You can see something called manage roles. Okay, so I have created two roles for your understanding. How you define the role, you have to create a roles, and what happen is once you create role, you have to put which table you are going to implement your role of security. So I am going to use email address. You can see I have two column, email address and your country, right? So I have used email addresses here, and I have used user principal name. This is a very simple function. So what happen is, once you log into your Power Services, and your ID will populate here. Okay, you understand? You just make it line that. So once suppose you have ID here, and once you have ID, so what happen is it will go to modeling tab, and once you see the data, right, this ID I have two accesses, United States and France, right? So once it go to modeling, so country wise I have make a relationship, right? So country, USA, United States and your France will get filter out, right? Because you given a filter here, kind of filter. So you understand? ID come here in roles. Roles define your country. Country have joined with your fact table. So I am getting data get filter based on your rules, right? This is my security. So how you test your data? So for that I have created two roles. One role have filter on based on your ID login, and one is all location. Means you have access. There is no filter being applied. All data you can see. So how you test it? You can see I have option called view as. You can directly click on that. So as of now, you can see data. I have all countries here, near about six countries. I have all the data. Okay, let me click on view on. So your view definition will come up, right? I want to see data for all location. Let me see that. Okay. So there you can see there's no difference because all location have all the data, right? You can see you now you viewing as your roles. Okay. This is because you want to test your data, means you want to test your role, how it working. So you can directly say that. So let me stop and let me see my actual role is working or not. Okay. So I let me use the limited location where I choose a USA and my France, right? So let it populate here. So you can see my data get filtered out based on my data, right? You can see I have less data here, I have less data here, I have only two country here based on my rules. This is part of my desktop. Okay, so let me go to Power BI services and show you how my security works. So you can see I have selected, I created one report actually where I have all the data. So I just publish the report. It's quite simple. Just you have to click on publish button and you have to go where you have to open that workspace where you publish the report. And what you have to do, you have to go to the model where you have a security tabs. You can see I have security tab, sorry. uh, so you have to click on security. Okay, in the security tab, what happened is I have two. For limited location, I have given my ID. Okay, you getting you getting the point, right? And you have to save it. What you have to test it, because you, if you given access to particular person, you have to test your roles. So you have to define test as role. So based on roles, you can see the data. So for me, I am getting two roles, right? Limited location, I have France and United States. Let me check for all locations. So this will give me all the results set. So, how you define the interviewer, how RLS work? I hope you understand the fundamental of your role securities, correct? You can see all the data. So, let me go back the question and how to answer it. So, role-based security RLS belongs to role-based security, where you restrict the data based on candidate or uh, person locations. Okay, that could be your department-wise, but mostly we use a location-wise securities. So how you implement it? There's two way: static and dynamic. Static would be each location you have to define your locations. Each means you have to get multiple roles based on your country, right? Suppose I want access for London, you have to create a role for London and filter the data on the fact level. Okay, that would be possible. You can create a separate sheet as well, but mostly people do that because they're low cost project. There are few people. But for the high level, high scale or organization scale, you have to use a dynamic role security, where you have to use what we say, we have to use a user principal name. And I show you, right, your ID go to your rows and rows table, filter out data on the fact, and you can see that. So you have to answer like that. My third question would be, what is the difference between count row, count A, CountX, count AX, distinct count, anything? So I have created a one PBX file where I have discussed about all the count functions. Okay, let me directly jump into my DAX functions. So I have already created the table. You can see the data. So let me show you the data. I have created DAX, so I just go through with that. So you can see I have data like 1 to 12 IDs. I have created some blank values. You can see I have some blank values here. What happened? Okay. Okay. Nothing has happened. Something is getting blanked. Okay. I think I selected something. Okay. So let me discuss about our data first, then we can go ahead. So I have imported all my data here. You can see ID 1 to 14. I have some product numbers. I have some blank values. I also use one unit price for decimal. I have used is delivered. Okay, where I have used a boolean value true and false. So let me discuss one by one. So count function will give you the count for all your non-blank values. Means it ignore your non-values functions. Okay, non-values data. So here you can see I have let me open the DAX first. So in DAX, you can see I have used a count where I have a quantity. You can see quantity, right? So it's not count sum. It will do how many valid data we have. It ignored non-blank values means I have how many rows? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right? I'm getting a count of 12. So it work only for three per data type. You have to keep in mind it work for integer, it work for date, it work for string. Make sense? So let me give you one trick point. If I change the table called is delivered, what do you think, it will work or not? It won't work because boolean not considered to work, it will throw you the errors. Okay, let me see that. So you understand, right, how it works. So count function only work for You understand? It work for only uh, three data type. It won't work for all data type. Let me replace it. Let me retain it. Let me delete this one so there is no confusion come across. Okay, let me delete it. So count, you get the point. Simple. Count function count the non-blank values. Please be clear on that. Second function, as I mentioned, we have a restricted for your Boolean value, right? So for overcome, we have count A. A means all data type. You can consider all data types. Okay. Let me open the DAX for it first, so you understand what DAX. So in count we have a problem with the Boolean values. If I want to get that, so definition will be same. It count A function will use for non blank values. Okay, so how many non values function have? I mean, non blank values, we have only one blank value, so it will ignore one and rest it give the output. So I get a 13 as a count. Correct? You get my point? Now count text function. Suppose you have some operation to be performed. Okay, I want a quantity. Okay, I want a quantity where my boolean. You understand? Let me open the DAX function. You will get it. Count text function. So count text function, you can see if I want to apply some filter. Okay, filter means, you understand, if I want to do some extra operation, X means expressions. Okay, you keep in mind like that. Count X means expressions you want to apply. So if I want to get the total quantity, it's also ignore null values, but I wanted to apply some filter where is deliver equal to true. Okay, so we have only eight data where I have non-blank and where is w equal to 2. Is w equal to true, right? You can see the expressions. So I have applied filter first. Keep in mind where table need to define column I equal to true and the quantity would be your non-blank values. So let me see. 2 always ignores, so I have 12 as a count, but true. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Get it? Perfect. So I hope you understand the count x. So let me understand count x function, count ax function. So count ax function, you understand? I think you will get the point. So AX is a combination. I want both. Okay, I want to count. Let me give you example. Suppose I want to get difference. Okay, so if I do the calculate the function for is delivered. Okay, so what I said in earlier, count A it work for all, but count X is expression, right? It give me the error because it won't work for Boolean values. So we have to use AX function. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to answer here. So count function will give the result for all non-value. It ignore non-blank values. A means all. It will work for all data types. X means you have to define expression by a filter or something. So it will work like that. X means it's a combination of A and X, means it will work for all the data type, and you can apply the functions. Okay, AX. Now, I want some function which count the blank, right? Non-blank we worked, but I want some function work as a blank. Let me open that. So we have a count blank function. I want to count how many blanks we have. So it's a very straightforward. You can see I have a function called count blank where I define the quantity. I have two blank here. Okay. So this will be quite simple. I'm not going to brief on that. It just counted non-blank values. Okay. Second function is distinct count. Distinct count function. How many distinct value we have? Okay, so distinct count function work like the same where we have to define distinct count. So table one equal to quantity where I have one, and here we can count as blank also. Okay, keep in mind is count to blank. Blank is count as one count. So let me count one, two, three, four, five. It will ignore six, seven, eight, Do we have 4, 9? It repeated. Yeah, 2 in order 10, right? So you can see 2 and 4 is repeated, right? Earlier, 2 earlier come, 4 also comes up. So distinct count value, just like a name suggests, we are defining the distinct value and null also considered here. Please keep in mind. So I want a distinct count non-blank value. Okay. So I want to ignore blank now. Okay, I want to ignore blank, so we have a distinct count, no blank. This is a function you can define, and you can see we are earlier we considered this blank value, right? It will ignore on that cases. And this is one more important function called count row. Count row is a function which will count a whole table. Okay, I have 14 rows. It will consider all the rows. Okay, how many rows? It is not considered. It all considered blank. Blank will consider here. So keep in mind like that. So this is a brief about my all count function. If you understand, please hit the bell icon and subscribe the button. And also, just practice your session. If you want the file, I can share the file as well. Okay, just write me the comment. I can share the sample file. You can practice your own. Okay. Let me jump into another question. So, what are the steps you follow on performance issue on dataset level? So, as I discussed with Sant, he given with scenario where his visual is very much slow. Okay, so what are the key pointer be considered to reduce or to enhance the performances of my reports? Okay, so there are multiple steps. Let me discuss one by one. Okay, for me I have very low data, so I'm not getting latency, but I show you what are the key steps. Okay, so once you import the data, so you need to consider your data quality. Okay, means your data, let me show you. You should go there where, let me show there. So let me open any of the file. Okay, so here you can see in table task one, how you consider your data quality. Okay, you have to go home. Let me open that data set. Okay, okay. So here you can see, let me open the view. Let me enable data quality, data profile, and data distributions. Okay. So these are the Power BI given intelligence. You have to see what each column it will define how many data is valid, what is error comes up, what is empty. Means you have to check your data and data quality. Okay, how many distinct record we have, there is no mismatch of your data and data type, right? So sometime you can have a black value, you have to check on that. You have to delete unused column. Okay, suppose you have 100 and columns, because of your data set get high that heavier, you have to ignore the column which not in use on your visual label or filter label. Okay, so you have to delete those columns which is not being used on further purpose. Okay, so you have to keep it in mind like that. So first step, you have to define data quality, data profile or data distribution. You have to check all the data. Second, you have to delete, you have to make your data accurate and readable format. And you can have those data which is required, means you can apply the filter as well. Okay, might suppose I have 10 million rows and only 500 rows being used, you have to ignore all the filter, you have to apply filter and ignore the data. Okay, so you can use the query folding if you use a live connection or like that. Okay, secondly, what you have to do, let me go back to your query and close. So you have an option called query, let me, what is the name? Performance analyzer, I guess. So what you have to do, you have to go to the uh, you have to go to view, I guess. Okay, you can see I have a performance analyzer being opened. Okay, so in performance analyzer, once you open the DAX, right? So for example, for reading this measure, sum of price by month, you can see there should be something like that. Which measure it work? I think this one, DAX one. So each one you have to see there is three bars, three definition. DAX query, it taken 5 millisecond. Okay, for visual it takes 2 seconds, and other Other would be your taking data from query to here. That could be your calculation runtime and placing your data. Okay, that could be the reasons. So for that you cannot do so much here, but you can do performance data on your dash side. Okay, this is a part of data set, means how much data taken from your source to your model, writing a DAX and so on, right? Latency and all it comes up. So you have to mention these three pointer to be answered. Okay, let me try to open next question. So question would be how to calculate rolling amount for 1 year. Okay, so this is, I think you familiar with the question, but this is my responsibility to answer it out. So let me open one of the DAX. I have created one page for you. So let me show you the DAX. So I have created DAX already for you to understand. So you can see here, right? Sum of sales I have. I have a data January, February, March, April, May, so on. What did I have? So this is my sales sum. So what interview understand? Once you have first entry, okay, from this entry to backwards for 12 months, it will sum up. Okay, but my first data is January 2026, so I don't have any data in backwards. Okay, so it will count as 42.349, and upwards it will sum up. Okay, so 2729 plus your 42, it will give like that. So it will work for 12 only. Okay, you can see my data is little bit less here. Why? Because 12 month not consider those data, it go to only backwards 12 months. So what is the measure I have written? Let me show you. So I have to go to where my DAX is. Yeah. So DAX is quite simple. You have to keep in mind your date in period function. So it's quite simple. You have to do some of your aggregate column, and you have to define what period means. You have to define the date because you have a date. Date in times is a date in release function. So it's quite simple. Date in function requires three parameter. One is your date from where you're taking. What is the maximum date? So maximum days considered based on your data. For me, December 2023, my maximum date is 2023. Okay, this one. It go backward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It go to till January. Okay, because I'm going backward minus 12. So you have to keep in mind like that. It go to your backwards, and this is 12, but what basis? You have to define a month here, right? You might go to 12 years, you might go to per day, you might go to per week. You can that type anything. So date in period function, it will give you the period of your data. Okay, so you keep in mind this is quite simple function. You have to use date in period where you have defined tables, means which date you have to use, and what is the maximum date on that on the table work like that I mentioned, right? So if you taking consider for Fab 24, it go to backward for 12 months. Okay, so I think I answered this question. Let me go to next question. So how to use DAX function which is not supported in your direct query mode? So this question come not frequently, but this is sometime interview want to test your understanding about Power BI. So how to use DAX function? Suppose you have that query mode, you have fetch data. So there are many DAX functions which is not worked, but some of them work, but sometimes it won't work. So you have a function enabled in your desktop. Okay, let me go with the article. I have search article for that because I don't have option to show in my desktop file. So how it works? So you have to go to setting options, and you have to enable all measure being open for you. Okay, so let me open the article. You can see I have you have to open the setting option, that query mode, and you have to allow unrestricted measure in that query mode. You have to do that. Okay, and secondly, so once you open the direct query mode, let me show you that as well. So I have imported the table with using direct query mode. How you say that? Once you click on the table, you can see name and storage mode is a direct query mode, right? So, but in the below, you have option to switch this. Okay, because you have only two options, right? Modeling and your visual. You don't have option to get the data, see the data, right? So Power Query cannot do that. You have to do everything on your power SQL level or where you fetching data. So this mode, but suppose you imported the mode, but you cannot revert back. Means you cannot come back to direct query mode. You have to again delete the tables. You have to re-establish the connection on the same table. So your visual will work. But this is my answer. If you know any particular DAX function which is not working on your DAX or in a direct query mode, just ping me that. I tried to search, but I didn't find that. So I want you to search some function or what is the best answer for this question. So I hope you enjoy the video. So if you think my answer is not accurate in any point of view, so you can comment me out. I try to improve the question series and I try to re-answer based on your comments. So because everyone is learning here, so if you think that could be answered better, you can just try to ping me, or you have my comment box. You can just comment me out. So I try to answer 6 questions today. Uh, this question should being asked any of your interview, right? Because in interview want to understand how you implement securities, how you control your date functions. Sometimes they ask about same time same time last year, so you should be prepared on that. If you think if you attend any interview, you don't know the answers, just ping me or chat comment box on your question. I try to attempt it. And yeah, today for enough. I think we I taken a lot of time. So thank you for watching my channel. Please share who are attempting the Power BI, Azure, or SQL question answers. And if you don't know the answer, just ping me in the comment box. I try to answer as much I can. Yeah, thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Sat Sri Akal.